y'all, this is Billy and Michelle from Perma Pastures Farm. Oh, and also the greatest Pyrenees milk boy. Ain't that right, boy? Anyway, okay, that's the only thing that'll get her to smile. Yeah, we got to talk about some dog, and then her little rat-looking dog back there, the little homeless. The dog over there that doesn't do anything, that's her dog. This is the one that does all the work around here, just so you know. Okay, so here we are down in the food forest, and typical of most permaculture folks, there's a lot of food around here. There's a lot of things that if your eye isn't accustomed to, you're probably going to think is just haphazard. But that's not, well, notwithstanding the trellis we have here. So we got a bunch of, looks like snakes in heat on the ground here. Well, green snakes in heat, actually. But that's really not what it is. What is it, honey?
These are yard-long beans, and it was my first time growing them this year. I wanted to test them out. And so we planted them, and we don't really care for the taste for them. I was thinking, you know, if they were yard-long beans, you'd get a bunch, and they'd be good for just preserving, but I just don't care for the taste, so.
Yeah, so between her and William not really liking them, that's pretty much gospel, because William will eat anything, folks, and I mean anything but a raw tomato. Yeah, figure that one out. I don't understand it. But if he doesn't like it, I guarantee they're probably not going to be. And if she can't cook them and make them taste good, then so what do we do with them? Well, I mean, what's going to happen here? We got these long, okay, not even the puppy wants them.
In the way.
Hey, okay, yeah, quit, boy,
Here,
no.
Give it to him.
No, we don't need to be training him to eat our food, no.
Okay.
Hey, okay, so anyway, you need to behave, boy.
So
this is why we got dogs that don't listen, because she feeds them potatoes and stuff. So look, here we are. So what are we going to do with these?
So I'm just going to pick them and put them in, give them to the chickens, and let the chickens eat them. We could give some to the pigs also.
Right. So we're just going to take these, harvest them. Now, folks, there's going to be some out there. In fact, there were a number of people. I remember my first permaculture teacher, Nicholas Bertner at School of Permaculture. He had heard about the way we were feeding our excess eggs to the pigs. And he had told me early on, he said, man, some people are going to lose their minds over that. Well, okay, folks, we were getting 100 eggs a day, and we had to do something with them. So, you know, I understand there's a controversy out there, but really, are you wasting it? You know, you got a couple of ways you can look at this. You can say, okay, I'll make myself eat them. Or, you know, maybe you want to pickle them. I don't know. I mean, there's a number of things you could do with it. But when you have a harvest to the extent that we do in other areas, a lot of it isn't being covered here. A great deal of it isn't even being covered on this channel. So you do have options. You can say, okay, can I use this and add fat to a pig? Can I use this and add meat to a bird? Can I use this and make compost? I mean, there's a number of times when you have things that you don't necessarily want to eat, or maybe they're new and you didn't try them out. So instead of throwing them in a garbage pile, recycle them. And it looks like my dog, intrepid, hey, get out of there, boy. It looks like he's wanting to have his fair share of these too. And you can see why we have dogs that don't do what they're supposed to do, because somebody over here is feeding them things that they're not supposed to be eating. You are not an herbivore, you hear me?
How many snacks does Dad give Milk Boy, Mom?
None.
All of them.
He gets no snacks.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't. The boy, he gets what he's supposed to. Isn't that right, boy? Hey, get off of that. So, I mean, honestly, so people are, look, we got a few of them hiding up in here. So just so people understand, I mean, what do they taste like to you? I know some people like to eat them. And looks like you got some other beans here.
Yeah,
why don't you explain? Well, first of all, tell them what these things taste like.
I just don't think they have any flavor. William said that they taste like slimy styrofoam. So that's probably a good description.
Wow.
And maybe if you had a little pork fat, you could eat them, but...
Yeah. You could eat anything with pork fat, y'all. I mean, if it came down to it, are you keeping any of the seed on this? Are you going to try to grow them again?
No, not if we're not going to eat them.
Okay, so there's plenty of other beans out there that we do like and we're going to eat. But you also got other stuff on this side. I guess you got the Tell them what you got here, because there's a lot going on that to the untrained eye they may not see. All right, so we got, I don't know, about a quarter, yeah, maybe a little bit more of these beans we don't like. But on this trellis, you kind of hedged your bets. I mean, tell us what you did here.
Yeah, we planted a couple different varieties. There's some, on the other side of this trellis, there's black-eyed peas. And then down there, there's scarlet runner beans.
So are these all experiments?
This is the first time I've planted these types of beans or peas.
All right, so I mean, I know that everything in this food forest area is partly an experiment. We already kind of know what the results are going to be because this ground was completely denuded. Just months ago, we put the cardboard down, so we really didn't expect anything coming out of here. But what exactly were you doing over here? What was the idea?
Well, we were just planting we have black-eyed peas over here, and then we've got scarlet runner beans, which I've never planted these types of peas or beans before. So I'm just trying them out and see how they do and see what we like and what we don't like.
Right, so we're going to have you can see if you get in close, we got a little bit of bug damage on some of this stuff. And that's exactly what we expect because it's not a issue with the plant, it's an issue with the soil. It all goes back to the soil. And when we say that our food is a byproduct of it, we really mean that. Now, for example, over here, so what you see over here, this trellis, this little makeshift trellis that we made out of leftover fencing, this stuff it doesn't look good. But this is what we expected. We weren't expecting really anything down here as far as a harvest because literally a little while ago, just months ago, just a few months, we put down the cardboard, covered it up with wood chips, didn't really do anything in terms of compost, and you can see the dogs running through here. But if you look around this section, over here they're looking good. Over here, they look absolutely awful. I mean, these guys are practically boo-hooing. In fact, they kind of give me the impression of what it would be like with watching Justin Rhodes forced in front of a TV watching the Hallmark Channel all day long. That's how bad these guys are crying.
Really?
Anyway, we got another trellis that doesn't look a whole lot better. They're boo-hooing too. Wow, what's happening here, honey? You're knocking me over with this dog.
Your dog's knocking you over.
Anyway, we got a lot of stuff out here that is doing great. We got another set of things that aren't doing so great, but that's part of it down here when you're building this soil. But what we do know, and what we've proven over and over and over again, is that when you put the right things in place, the cardboard, and then we pull it back and we examine the mulch underneath, if that cardboard's still there, we know we don't have much life in the soil. All right, y'all, so we got the yard-long beans in here. I'm just gonna put them down. We'll show you what we're gonna do with those in a minute. But also, this is where we harvested the potatoes the other day. Remember what I said about sheet mulching? Remember what I said about the soil? Look, we pulled all the potatoes up throughout here, right? So what did we do? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with this, is that we went down because we disturbed the soil so much. We don't want any successors coming in there that we don't like, or what Jeff Lawton refers to as unfriendly weed regimes. So what we've done in this potato patch is that we put down another layer of cardboard, put down this wood mulch, and now we're just going to let nature do it. The soil is already greatly improved, but now this time next year it is going to be on another level. And you can see in the other area that we have over here, we got cardboard laid out, and we're going to work from there all the way up. And we're only going to do this sort of thing, the only time we really go this extreme is when I'm looking at bare soil, like what you got here, where we have these potatoes. So that's really it. We're just going to take a bunch of this cardboard, lay it down, cover it with mulch, and I'm telling you what, based on what we've already done and what we've seen, this is going to be off the meat wagon by next year if we keep on with the same, with the same way we have. So, folks, look, a harvest that we get, I've said it before and I'll say it again, the harvest we get, we see as a byproduct of making really, really good soil. And that's exactly what we're doing. So we're just going to keep on doing what we're doing. And down there, sometimes you're going to get patches when you got, dogs running through there, misbehaving and doing things that they're not even supposed to be in here. But that's another video altogether, okay? Otherwise, I'm going to be the one crying like Justin Rhodes if it keeps up. So anyway, folks, this is how we do it. So we're going to just kind of walk. I mean, this is why everything's in close proximity in zones in permaculture, because anything we don't want, any harvest we want to give, we're going to take that, and it looks like Michelle has a handful of comfrey. We're going to hand it on over to these birds. So Michelle has a handful of comfrey. She just pulled up here, and we got tons of it. By the way, if you're needing any comfrey root to grow, check us out at permapasturesfarm.com. We got that for sale. Here before too long, we'll have some bone sauce too, but look at this. Okay, they were digging it until he came in with the camera. So she's just gonna go ahead and dump all this stuff in here. But typical of Michelle, she can't just throw it in there. She'll tear it off in little pieces like this because, you know, that's just how she is. You're sweet and tender like that. So are these birds, aren't they? Anyway, these guys in this chicken tractor on steroids, this will be gone here in about a half hour, maybe a little bit longer because I just fed them. But even if they don't eat it all, guess what? It's going to be compost anyway. So even if you have things like this or anything else that you don't want to eat, you got animals that'll eat it. You got animals that will transform that, like in this system, into meat, which we're about to process tomorrow, or into compost, which will create even better soil down there, y'all. So look, this is the beauty of the kind of work we do. This is why I go to sleep every night thinking about what I'm going to jump out of bed and do the next day. Isn't that right, honey? Yeah. Anyway, hope y'all dig it. This is just another little method in how we do things around here, y'all. It's like the fingers of your hand. It all works together. Remember, subscribe. Tell your friends about us. Hit that notification bell. Until next time, this is Billy, the Permaculture Pimp Daddy, and Michelle, the Permaculture Princess. We'll see y'all next time.